Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, of course, we're going to go over that sideways action on the Bitcoin chart and, of course, that little bit of a green on altcoins as Bitcoin just consolidates here. Guys, let's go straight to the charts. You can see on the 6 hour, we did have that rising channel, which did break down bearishly. And then I suggested last night we might be getting a bearish retest, and we do seem to be getting that bearish retest in that we were rejected from re-entry to the channel. Now, this wasn't with the highest pressure or anything like that, so I really don't think that this is the scariest of formations. In fact, we could bring up this broadening wedge that we have here, basically this megaphone pattern, and see that there is a little bit of an internal zone here. Yep, right there, where we can see wicks over here. We can see some consolidation here, some wicks, and then more wicks right here. And what we've seen in the past is a jump off of this megaphone line here. And we could see the same thing on the top where, if I brought this down to this kind of like mid area right here, you can see a little wick right here, wick right here, wick right here. And, we also just came down to this level. So, there's these little internal levels. But now, does that suggest that we actually have a harder line down here that we might end up testing? Well, I mean, it might. So, we can consider this to be a fair target, which is going to be that 200 EMA on the 6 hour. Should we get one of these wicks that just push down like this one right here or this one right here, and we just have a little capitulatory wick, that would take us into that 1 to 2 week volatility pivot zone where there would be a lot of liquidity to gather on the weekly without violating our weekly Bollinger Bands midline. So, guys, I am looking for this to continue to break down potentially. However, I do want to make you aware of the fact that we do have a little bit of a squeeze potential setup here, okay? So you can see that we have these bands just kind of softening and kind of leading into each other. And should we get a bullish cross, right, we could get a mean reversion to the upside. So just be aware that this thing could be just a little bit of a fake out as well. I'm just following the EMAs there, and on the 6 hour, that's the play that I'm looking for. Do we break down from the 4, essentially right here, essentially right at 30,000? Do we break down again and retest our lows, perhaps even push deeper into this megaphone pattern? Or do we get accepted above the 9 EMA, somewhere above 30,000, let's just say 100, and then above our Bollinger Bands midline would be a really good sign somewhere above 30,000, let's say 230,000, 300. That's going to bring us back into this rising channel here, and then we could suggest that maybe we're going to test the middle of the pattern or perhaps even the top of the pattern around 32. Okay, so guys, again, this could be a little bit of a fake out, but for right now, just the way that it retested, I would be open-minded to both directions, especially the retap of the lows. Let's go ahead and put some key levels on that 6 hour, and we can see that we do have. Well, let me zoom in here. We do have the momentum pool looking fairly bullish at the moment in the sense that we are above the volatility pivot. We are above the pool here. That's these green lines. And so we do have the alpha momentum at our back, and we have the volatility pivot at our back. So if this thing wants to squeeze up, momentum wise, there's nothing limiting us. We do have a little bit of a momentum shift here, and that shift is usually what we like to see if we are going to take a long setup. Now, I would like to see some candles just settling here. Otherwise, we could easily recheck our lows, and losing that volatility pivot at 29,817, we could really check the bottom of that megaphone pattern, somewhere even around 29,500. Now, what am I looking to capture? I'm looking to capture that Bollinger Bands midline right around here, which is actually going to correspond with the neutral point of control at 30,200. Yeah, so if we do something like this, we just get a nice pop here off of the top of the pool, and then kind of check out this area, then I would be looking for this to happen, and then we'll just double check, do we get acceptance up here or do we get rejection? And that, that next rejection could be harsh, but we'll find out. Guys, let's go ahead and jump over to the daily, because the daily also has the potential for this type of a squeeze. If should we get into the same exact setup where we do have the 9 EMA, the 4 EMA, and that Bollinger Bands midline, all lining up for the potential squeeze. So again, I am going to be looking for the squeeze setup should we hold this area. And let me get off the 6-hour chart and setup, and then let me go ahead and put the daily setup on. And there you go. You can see that we're already starting to squeeze back up into that daily momentum pool. And of course, the first move can always be a fake out. Could we get another drop, right? Could we get another drop and then prove that we have a higher low and then re-enter and do this and push across? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the setup that I'm seeing, at least to the volatility pivot here at 30,173. That's what I would be looking for. Should we fall out of the pool and then re-enter? Currently, the 9 and the 4 are pointed down on the daily, so I do think that this could take a little bit more time to reset. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is actually a possible squeeze scenario to the upside. So we're going to find out. Now, the cool thing is that on the hourly, if we drop down to the hourly, um, if we do break that zone that I was talking about on the 6-hour and the daily, then we are going to actually have a potential to squeeze up through the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. Now, you may be thinking that's just the 1 hour, so it's not that important. But you can see these pretty sizable moves, right? These pretty sizable moves when we break through the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. So if we do have that set up, well, we could potentially reclaim some of these candles over here, or even test that broadening wedge high up here around that 32. So these are what I'm going to be looking out for. Do we bearishly retest the bottom of this rising channel and just break down to the megaphone pattern lows around 29K, right, or a little bit higher than that perhaps? Or do we squeeze through the 200 EMA on the hourly and then perhaps test our megaphone pattern, mid-range or the top of the range? That's what I'm looking at, Alpha Fam. All right, unfortunately, I'm not a fortune teller, so I don't have a crystal ball to tell you which direction price action will go to, but those are the key levels to watch. So there you go, Alpha Fam. That's your alpha for the day. Stay safe and happy trading.